Hello guys, Moody here, and today got some creator tips for you. I've been getting a lot of questions about this aircraft carrier thingy. Um, like I said, guys, in previous videos, you can create all of these on an aircraft carrier, guys. It's super easy. All you gotta do is create a playlist with a glitch job as the first job, or power play one, and you can just have the aircraft carrier in your own specific job. Now, here in a minute, we'll create a survival, but I just want to show you guys how I'm doing this. Maybe it'll make it a little easier on me. I got two carrier replicas here that I use. One I used back in the day before we could even had mod props available. I just made a carrier template, and I actually was able to retrieve that from the Bring an Aircraft Carrier online glitch. It's pretty cool, but it was out long enough for me to be able to map and throw this thing down and pretty much get you the coordinates. I can show you the ins and outs of this thing, the height, the north, south, east, west location, which is what we are about to do here. Okay. I'll pass it up. There it is. Okay, this is the first one I made, guys. Because any of you guys know how this carrier glitch work. If you could glitch it in an online session, you was actually able to use it in Creator as well. Now, the carrier's out there, guys. It's just invisible. You can't see it. But if you know the location, you can glitch it into your job, and you can actually create on this thing. Now, this thing right here is the exact location of every in and out, nook and cranny in this aircraft carrier. This in and out's a pretty good one. It's a straight run through. Now, this in right here, not really too good for cars, guys, because if you remember the heist mission, there's only just a little hallway you can run through right in this little spot right here in the belly of this thing. So cars won't fit through it. RC cars, bicycles, and motorcycles fit through it just fine, but cars will not. Now, car will fit through this section just fine, or can get in here and turn around and come back, which is kind of goofy. But just be mindful when you're creating this thing. Make sure you're either have a spot where this is a turnaround for a car, or just use a little vehicle, and it will totally work out for you. All right, first thing you guys want to do right here. I always use the cement bags. Here, turn the prop stacking on so you can see it. Now, what you're going to look for is this first location right here, guys. Right position, push the square. This right here, guys, is the location of the rear of the aircraft carrier. This bottom number here, your Z coordinate, is your height, the elevation. These two coordinates right here are your north, south, east, west, your pinpoint spot. Put these two numbers right here, guys. You're in the location. And find your elevation. You're right there. Now, me personally, I drew a straight sketch of this aircraft carrier on my computer. Yeah, ain't the greatest looking sketch, but it's just an outline of it. And I specifically marked each one of these ins and outs on this carrier with these XYZ locations, so I know exactly where everything's at, so I can create on these things blind, you know what I mean, because that's what you're going to be doing. You can't see on this thing, you know what I mean, you're going to be creating pretty much in the dark. Right there is the rear of this thing. Next thing you want to do, guys, you're going to find the front of this thing, which is right here. Okay, take note, these XYZ coordinations, like I said, these two right here, your north, south, east, west, your pinpoint location. This is your elevation, up, down, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you got that one there. Now, to you guys that's just starting out with this method, I fully suggest you just start working on the deck, you know what I mean, on the top of the carrier. It's easy to find, easy to use, easy to manipulate, and it'll get you on your way to better test and figure out where things belong. I don't know about you guys, but I like making it to where you can't see any templates, or not templates, but props on my carrier for that fresh, just carrier look. Now, there's a way you can create these things to get that look. Like I said, you got to use your head. Okay, like I said, when you're starting out, just create on the deck, guys. Just start out creating on here. Then after you get it down, then you can start working on these ins and outs. Okay, now the back left entrance to the bow of the carrier, right there is that number, guys. You want to take note of that number. Your north, south, east, west, pinpoint location, and there is your elevation. It's a lot lower than the upper deck, but it's exactly where this thing's at. Me personally, guys, you're not going to have this template like I have until you create one of your own. But all these locations, just make sure when you're putting these down that you want to make sure it's centered. You know what I mean? Not necessarily your concrete bag, but the idea of putting it in the center. All right, it's centered up with my hole. Like I said, you're going to be doing this in the dark. Okay, so say you want to add a piece of stunt track to your entryway here. All right, see? Now you don't want to make the mistake and accidentally put it right here or put it right here, which is what would happen if you was to put this concrete bag or your marker in any other position. Now, putting your concrete marker in this exact position, or your stunt track right in the center, just like that, will allow it to make that track line up with the hole you're kind of getting into. Now, this hole, really, if you want to get through it to get to the other side, it's kind of got to be like at a 45 like this, guys. You know what I mean? And there's a laser jet in there, so if you're using a car and you want to go through, zoom through it, then you're going to have to raise that up and just have just enough height, you know what I mean, for your car to make it through, but not hit that laser jet that's in there. Pretty simple. Same on this other side, guys. This is the right side rear of the carrier. Okay, bring it right to the edge there. Advanced options. There you go. All those numbers. There's your east, north, south, east, west, and your elevation for that one. Take note. Like I said, guys, just get your piece of paper, pencil. You know what I mean? Draw a little mock-up looking aircraft carrier from a top view, and just place each one of these numbers on that specific location. So when you go in the creator and you're wanting to find these locations, you got them. You got a mapped out, precise print of where this aircraft carrier is. Like I said, there is that inlet. Now this one out here, this is our front right inlet, and this is the weird inlet, guys. You know what I mean? This is the one you don't want to add a car. You know what I mean? A car's not going to be able to get through this aircraft carrier. You know what I mean? Going through that way. Now, a motorcycle, a bicycle can, or an RC car, but a car will not. So be mindful when using this inlet right here. Ain't too many options for it. Still pretty cool. Alright, now this one right here. There you go, guys. That is that inlet. No problem. And another thing you guys want to do, once you get good at creating on this thing, you'll be able to put like spawn points and checkpoints in the belly of this beast. You know what I mean? Like, this is the right elevation for the belly of this beast. But you got to think here, this is just like a rough sketch. There's a lot of things missing, a lot of corridors, stairwell. So if you're going to be placing weapons or checkpoints or spawn points, you want to kind of get it in the middle here. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere else, you're going to end up spawning into a wall or something stupid. Now, that's only about half of this carrier. About from here back to about here. There's a little hole back here too. You can actually put places in there, but there's a wall here and a laser jet. Like I said, you don't want to spawn your character into a wall or something dumb, so just put them all in the dead center there. Now up in here, there's nothing, guys. So if like you get lower level spawn location, you're not going to be able to get to this when the aircraft carrier spawn, because it's going to consume it. There's no way to even get to it. But be mindful. Okay. Now, this little inlet, or little runway, whatever, Here we go. There's your north, south, east, west coordinates, and here is your elevation. Um, and that's it, guys. You know what I'm saying? Once you do that, you're pretty much set. You got all the ins and outs memorized and mapped. Now, the hardest part, guys, is getting these things lined up. You're going to be doing some testing. I've been doing this for years and years, and sometimes I still don't get things quite lined up with this aircraft carrier because it's out there just invisible. So you have to go in, make your playlist, test it with a bud, you know what I mean, make sure everything's lined up. Then you start building your course. You know what I mean? I fully recommend what you do. Like just slap down your quick course using them stunt tracks. You know what I mean? Connecting everything in and out. Run it with your buddy. Make sure everything's lined up before you waste all this time creating a big old race and take it in and something don't work right and you get thumbs down because your race don't work. It's happened to me a lot. I've made these races and I've had some people even join the playlist after the power play mission and they couldn't even see the carrier. They're like, what the hell is this? It looks like garbage, blah, blah, blah. Because it's supposed to have the aircraft carrier there. Like I said, let me show you what a race would look like. Or how you would need to build it on your aircraft carrier. So when your aircraft carrier spawns, it doesn't consume your checkpoints, your spawn points, this, that, and the other. Okay, where is it? We're looking for CRR3. Oh, there we go. Okay. Excuse me. Now, your finished creation should look something like this, guys. Now, this is the exact location of the carrier. I just took my prop and moved it over here because it looked pretty cool. And it looked cool next to the other aircraft carrier right here. And like I said, if you want to do stuff in the belly of this thing, you're going to have to make it to where you can get to it. Now, you can't see any of these stunt track props when the carrier is visible, guys. You know what I mean? So just make sure when you're putting that, you set them just a little low so it's consumed by the deck or the floor of this carrier. So when you get in your custom race, you see a nice smooth carrier and not a bunch of ugly stunt tracks that you had to put together to be able to complete your race to be able to make this thing. Now, when you're first starting off, it don't really matter. Stick props out the side of the thing, whatever. Just find it. You know what I mean? That's your biggest thing. Start off finding it. Now, you notice where I got my checkpoints here. Now, this checkpoint, that's about as far back as you're going to come with checkpoints or player spawn points or anything like that without getting like stuck in a wall or just putting it in a real stupid spot. You know what I mean? So you want to be mindful because when you do the glitch, the aircraft carrier is going to load, and if, like I said, you put your checkpoint or spawn point in a wall, you're not going to get to it, or you're just going to be stuck in a wall in a deathmatch. Pretty simple. This is an RC car race. I was able to do this because the RC car is small enough to get through this hallway that's in here. Bicycles and motorcycles work, but if this would have been a regular car race, there's no way it would work on the aircraft carrier because there's no way to get around to that side without turning around and going all the way back around that way to get to it, which is kind of ridiculous. Still pretty cool and can be used. I don't understand why Rockstar hasn't unlocked this thing or even let us play on it. The heist yacht, so to say, too. Why wouldn't they just leave that in the lobby for kids that can't afford the $12 million yacht to play on? You know what I mean? To that yacht siege mission, just have one on that yacht. I think it'd be kind of cool and give the players that don't got 12 million to get the yacht something to play on so they can enjoy it too. But that's just me. They want to keep this stuff locked down when it's actually pretty cool additions to this map. It really does baffle me, guys, because it really is cool. This aircraft carrier is really huge and is a good playing field for death matches, last team standing, all kinds of cool stuff. Like I said, I don't see what the hubbub about and why it's such a big deal to have this thing online. Rockstar, you suck, just so you know. You already made Sold 115 million copies, man. Give us the damn aircraft carrier and our templates back while you're at it. Um, but yeah, this is what your finished project should look like, guys. And like I said, you want to make sure everything's lined up. Um, Now I had a problem when I ran this one that I actually set everything just a little too low, so I had to kind of put this little lip on here so I could actually get my RC car in there. Um, Same over here. It wasn't a little smooth transition, but I put this on there to give it that smooth transition, and now it works actually pretty fine, and it looks pretty cool too, guys. Like I said, you can create anything on these: death matches, survivals, last team standing, whatever. End of the segment, I'll just hurry up and create a survival for you guys. Pretty simple. Like I said, it's just a matter of finding that location. You know what I mean? And quite frankly, I think I already got a survival on the aircraft carrier. Hold on, I'll load it up. Pretty simple. Now I got another good template in here that I really enjoy using. Oh, it's not in here. It's published. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this is my boss carrier template, guys. I love this. It's the exact replica. It's the default carrier. This thing is in the exact location of the aircraft carrier. Now, my elevation is just a little bit off, but Rockstar took our template, so I can't fix it. I just got to get it up in the air another 2 notches, and it's going to be just dead on perfect. But anyhow, this thing is lined up to the T. Super cool. I fully recommend you guys making a template for each one of your job series. I got a template for survivals, I got a template for death matches, LTF, captures, races, and they're gonna make F1 races. I'm gonna make one with that too. Just make you a template. It ain't got to be nothing like this. You don't need a mod template. You've seen my other one I had on there. It was just a bunch of props cobbled all together to make it look like an aircraft carrier. But you can get the same effect and use it to create on this thing. Pretty cool. Let's say survival on the carrier. Oh, there it is. That is it right there, guys. That is all you need to do to create a survival on this thing. Now you can do one of two things. You can put your enemies on the deck of the thing and come up from the bottom, or you can vice versa, put them down here and put your spawn points at the top. Either way it goes, still makes for a pretty cool survival. And they are super simple and easy to do. Right here, let me show you. Here is the belly of the beast. We should be within our Alright, yeah. Now I got this one down as super low as I can get, because you can still place your spawn points, guys, but when the aircraft carrier spawns, this thing is going to be underneath it, and you'll be standing on top of your spawn points. You won't get spawned up underneath the aircraft carrier. You know what I mean? Super simple, super cool. You can actually place your triggers on this thing way out here. Like I said, you just got to find that location. You know what I mean? And then you're in there. All I got to do is run this job with a power play or a modded carrier job, and I'm playing survivals on the aircraft carrier. Super simple. A lot of you guys are having trouble putting these um, spawn points on top of floating platforms. We'll just show you how to do that too. Alright, now, one of two ways to do this, guys. If you got them placed on the solid ground, like you can place them down here, and then take them all the way back to your platform here, or you can go into first person mode and just throw one down. I suggest the first person mode, super easy. Okay, enemy spawn points. Yeah, you see how you can't? There's no way to place one down by doing that. Now watch it. Go in first person, enemy spawn point. See that? Just like kick that analog stick like you're looking up at the sky. That right analog stick, that thing will turn white. You know what I mean? And boom, he's gonna sit right here. This is also the way to make the glitched survival, to where the guys just fall in the water. You ain't gotta kill nothing. AFK, just stand there. Pretty cool. I made one of them as well. And after that, what you do is, guys, don't delete the prop, because it'll delete your spawn points. Just edit it, turn it into something small, whatever, not a big deal. Get rid of it, hide it, whatever, and boom, you got all your spawn points right there. Super simple. Or you can do it the other way. You can't pick them back up. Like I said, you can place one down on solid ground and pick it back up and place it on a floating platform. Not too hard to do. But yeah, guys, all you need is the location of this thing, and you can create some pretty cool jobs on here. I got vehicle death matches on it, modded jobs, you name it, and it's just fun, something different to do. I know there's a lot of other players out there like me that like creating. You know, I'm not into the PvP revolution that's going on here with GTA and Red Dead, and quite frankly, it kind of upset me seeing where this game has come to past few years. They just hand it to the trolls, remaking DLCs out of mods that they used to take from us, explosive rounds, flying cars. You know, it's kind of crazy. Like I said, you can't convince me Rockstar ain't allowing this stuff to happen, like glitches and things like that, because flat out, guys, 50% of their player base is on here because you can manipulate this title, not just because it's the greatest game in the world. This movie 765, and hopefully guys get some use out of this. I know I sure did, and continue to have fun with it. I'll see you on the next one.